Hi, everyone. Welcome to Mastering AAM's Newspaper Analyzer tool. I'm Jenny Anderson of AAM's Client Solutions team, and I'm glad that you joined us today. As a member of the Alliance for Audited Media, you have access to all the tools and reports in our Media Intelligence Center. Our goal for today's session is to ensure that you can comfortably navigate through the Media Intelligence Center's Newspaper Analyzer and generate the reports that you need. With the Newspaper Analyzer's reports and detailed functionality, you can easily export and view data for your company's unique analyses in just a few clicks. Some quick housekeeping notes. Before we get started, we have a large group with us today, so everyone is on mute. If you have a question, please type it in and we will get back to you individually via email. So let's get started with our training session. I'd like to start by suggesting that you use either Google, Chrome, or Firefox as your internet browser when using the Media Intelligence Center, or as I'll call it, the MIC. So how you access the MIC is first we're going to log in from our auditedmedia.com main page. So I'm going to click the menu button. I'm going to click Login, Media Intelligence Center, and Sign In. So from here, you'll see this is our main page of our Media Intelligence Center. So you'll see here we have over 2,500 publications featured in our MIC database. But today our focus is going to be on newspapers. So up here on the left-hand side under the publication filter, I'm going to put a check mark to the left of newspaper. So now you'll see we have over 1,900 newspapers specifically within the MIC. Publications, as you can see, are listed in alphabetical order. And the circulation number over here, the Sunday-Saturday or the weekday number, that includes print and digital circulation. So here you want to start your session by actually selecting the publication that you'd like to look at while you're in the MIC. So there are a couple ways to do this. In the search by bar, I can just choose a couple of newspapers if I want. Say I'm just looking for two. I start typing in Akron Beacon Journal, and I see that here below as I'm typing in. So I just go ahead and click on that. If I want to add another newspaper, I just click comma, no space, and I'm going to start typing in Abilene Reporter News. As I'm typing again, you see that the paper comes up below, so I just click on it. So now under our publication name, we have the two newspapers I've selected, Akron Beacon Journal and its affiliated publication, Sunday Mall, and Abilene Reporter News. So now I have the two titles that I'm interested in. So let's say that you actually want to access more titles rather than just two of these titles. Let's go ahead and take a look at our filters. So this little circular icon here with an arrow at the end is the reset button. You'll use that often in the MIC. So I'm going to reset, and I'm going to go here again and click newspaper under publication. And now I get to choose from many of the filters on the left-hand side to help pick my list. So first, I'm going to go here under Audit Source. You can see under Audit Source, I have AAM and CAC. So everything listed right now includes our AAM and our CAC audited publications. Who is or what is CAC? CAC is a certified audit of circulations. In 2012, CAC joined AAM as a subsidiary. So this new relationship results in a comprehensive new central location, meaning the MIC, for audited newspaper data and additional service opportunities for CAC. So it was a win-win for everybody because we were able to add over 500 additional titles into our Media Intelligence Center. So here, like I said, you can choose one or the other. Say you just want to look at AAM titles, or we can deselect that. And let's say you come in and you're looking just to search CAC titles. You can absolutely do that. You just click on that CAC, and now you see over here over 500 titles that you have narrowed down. You could actually access all CAC titles if you want to put a check mark to the left of publication name, and that would select all 522. I'll deselect this and continue with our filters. So I'm going to deselect CAC because I want to keep both in the mix, AAM and CAC. So also we can go down to our country filter. When we put a plus sign to the right of country, you can access United States newspapers or Canadian newspapers. So now you see here I have 81 Canadian titles that I can access information for. We do have a Canadian newspaper analyzer, and we will cover how to access those reports in a future webinar. So for right now, I'm going to deselect Canada, and I'm going to select the United States. So now I've got all of my titles, over 1,800 within the US, both AAM and CAC. So other filters that you can use on this left-hand side are, would you like to see which titles report quarterly? So I click yes here, and now you'll see our titles here that report quarterly. And you can see that I've chosen the quarterly option because it's -QR here, whereas normally it says -AR for audit report. So I'll deselect quarterly reporting. So now we're back to audited, and now you can see the -AR. So that's one of the filters you can use if you're just looking at quarterly data. You can do that. As you scroll down, you can also choose publications that have digital editions by clicking yes or no. You can also look at publications that have a certain circulation. If you want pubs that have 250,000 and greater cert, you can choose that by choosing these here. You can also go down and check out parent company. So parent company, you can go in and you can choose a parent company, put a check mark to the left of it and click apply and close. And now you'll just have the publications that are represented by that parent company. And you can also go down and do the market search by picking newspapers that have circulation within a particular state, etc. So as I have my newspaper titles listed here, I'm just going to use one as an example and show you the quarterly reports tab briefly. So I'm just going to click on Akron Beacon Journal. And what happens when you click on the title in blue is that you go to the quarterly reports tab. This used to be the consolidated media tab, but that changed about a couple months ago. So now when you click on the title, you go directly to quarterly reports. This tab features the most current quarterly data report available for each title, or you can access historical reports by clicking the down arrow here and accessing one of the years that you would like available for each of your titles. When you go to Reports Library, as it's stated, you have a library of PDF reports for whichever title you clicked on. So I mentioned that briefly. I'm sure most of you know how to access quarterly data reports in Reports Library, but I just want to show you again, just to get it firmly in your mind, that you can just click on that title. It's really easy to access. So now you can also access zip codes. So let's say I want to access newspapers that have circulation in a particular zip code. So I can just go up here and I can type in 33446 and click enter. Now, the publications that come up, because I have newspapers selected, these are the publications that have circulation to this zip code. So you can see the zip code is in Southern Florida. So you get your particular newspapers that have circulation to that zip. This is a great trick if you have anybody who's looking for, let's say a handful of zip codes. Just like the titles, you can put a zip code in, comma, no space, and type in another zip code. You could do comma, no space, another zip code, etc. So you can access your information just by doing one zip code, comma, no space, another, comma, no space, etc. Also, something to mention is that these column headers are clickable. So for instance, if I want to see a most recent report date, I can click on report date, and now it takes the most recent date and below. So now I can access titles based on their most recent report date. If you want, you can also do, let's say, a city. If I wanted to rank by cities, now they're ranked in alphabetical order. So just remember, these are clickable for you should you have any need to access information alphabetically, either ascending or descending. So here I'm going to reset, and I'm going to go to my newspaper filter. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go down into my parent company, and I'm just going to go through here. I'm going to pick Lee Enterprises, and I'm going to click Apply and Closed. So now I've used my parent company filter, and I've accessed 65 publications for Lee Enterprises. So I'm going to pull these newspapers into the newspaper analyzer. So I put a check mark to the left of publication name that selects all 65. I click this Analyze Data button. The Analyze Data button is the doorway to the newspaper analyzer. So you have to at least select a title. You see it'll disappear here. Select a title and click Analyze Data. It's going to take just a few seconds to process that data, and then we're going to be able to see some tabs available here. We want to go to the Newspaper Analyzer tab. Once we're into the Newspaper Analyzer tab, I'm actually going to choose Deselect Quarterly Data, and I'm going to cover Audited Data first. So now that I'm in Audited Data, I can scroll down here and see the reports that I have available to me. Reports will pull data from the most recent audit report available for every title that we pulled into this tool. So one thing to note is there are going to be more reports available to you for audited data than quarterly data. Those reports are the DMA, CBSA, and then the county and state. So these 4 reports are only available via audited data. So to cover these reports, there are a number here that you can access. Executive summary, it's going to provide you, as it states, kind of a top line executive summary, total paid, qualified, verified type circulation. Print analysis gets into the nitty-gritty of your print. Digital analysis gets into that nitty-gritty of your digital. Distribution by market is your primary, secondary market distribution. Distribution by counties is just as it sounds. It gets to the granular level of county data. Distribution by state and zip code. So you can see you can really access some detailed information that can help you pinpoint even where you'd like to place an advertisement or where you want to do, send out more information. You also have a DMA, a CBSA report, and a basic prices report. So here, I'm going to just let you know that there are 3 options for you when you're choosing these reports. You can export, view report, or modify. Now, export is, like it states, it directly exports into Excel. So let's say I want to do the print analysis. I just click on that Excel icon, and you won't see a spinning, but it is processing. And you saw we got our print analysis report. Now, I just downloaded that directly into Excel, which means I have my pre-filled in categories. I didn't get to choose them. They were chosen for me. They're the most popular categories. You can see here, total paid print, qualified, verified, total print, total circulation. So you have that option of just clicking on that export button. You also can view the report. When I click on this little book icon, it loads. Now, what this does is it allows you to see what your categories are prior to exporting. If you're happy with them, you can go ahead and click the export button. A window is going to pop up and you click this down arrow. From here, you get to choose your preferred format for this report. Most people are going to choose Excel, and then you click OK. So instead of just downloading and not being able to see it, now I've seen the report and I can download it and I can access it. So once your report, here again, it's just like the export, but I got to view it beforehand. If you want to add to this report, you just click on Create New Report, and now you get the window where you get to select your column headers. So that's Export View Report. Now we have Modify. I like Modify because it takes you directly to the window where you get to select exactly what you want in your report. You'll see some check marks grayed out to the left of a category. Those are automatically included in your report, so you cannot remove them. But I can go through here and I can actually pick if I want to add more categories to my report. I can go through and select all the ones that I want, or I can click on Select All here at the top. Then that actually allows you to choose all of your data elements you want in your report, and then you click Submit. That's going to bring us again to this export area where you click Export, choose your preferred format, say it's PDF, and click OK. Now you have your report. So with this information, it works the same way for every report. Let's take the distribution by state report. If I go in and I click the plus sign under Modify, and what's going to happen is it brings up that window, remember, where it allows me to choose what do I want in my report. Do I want to add paid home delivery, total? Do I want to add my single copy sales, total paid individually, business traveler, etc.? Oftentimes I click Select All because it's easier to delete a column from a report than it is to go back and run it. But your choice is completely customizable. And then you click Submit. So now we're going to be loading our distribution by state, and it's going to, again, pull that information for all those papers we pulled into the newspaper analyzer. From here, we click Export, and we're going to choose our format and click OK. Something I want to bring to your attention is this Select Reporting Period area. When you put a check mark to the left of historical reporting period, you're going to see here you have a number of audit dates. I would not use anything under 2012 because we did add some of that data in there for test purposes. So I wouldn't go back too far with that. I would say 2012, 2013, you're going to find some more information. But you can access, let's say you want to do 2016, 2017, 16, and 15. It's going to provide you with the data for those papers that we pulled in. Now I've chosen those 3 years, and now I can go in and choose another report, and it's going to pull in that information. So let's say I wanted the print analysis report. I'm going to click that Modify button, and when my window comes up with my information, you can see it takes a little bit longer when you choose historical periods. You can see here my historical periods are chosen. I click my Select All for this example and click Submit. So now I have my report. I can export it, choose my preferred format, and click OK. So those are your options for your audited data. I'm going to deselect historical reporting. Again, if you don't select a reporting year, then what you're going to get is the most recent audit available for every single title you pull in. Now let's take a look at our quarterly data. I'm going to deselect audited data, and I'm going to select quarterly data. Now, kind of like audited data, quarterly data is going to pull from the most recent quarter available. So when you don't choose a reporting period, just remember it'll pull the most recent. So you'll see we have a few less reports here for quarterly data than we did for audited data. However, you'll see the format looks exactly the same. You can directly export a report into Excel. You can view that report prior to exporting it like we did before, or you can click Modify, which will show you the window where you can make your selections on your categories and click Submit. So for this instance, I'm going to do the distribution by zip code report. I'm going to click the plus sign under Modify. And I'm going to pick and choose, again, what do I want in my report? In this instance, I'm going to select all because I want to include everything I can in my zip report, and I click Submit. So you'll notice this works the same as our audited data polls did. You select your report by using one of the three options. You choose your categories, you submit it, and you export it. So here we can export. You choose your preferred format, and then you click OK, and it downloads for you. So now we have our distribution by zip code report. So I'll save it here, and then that'll pull up for us. So now you've got zip code information for all of those newspapers that we pulled into the newspaper analyzer tool. So you have that report available for you right there. You can save it, etc. So I'll close out of here. So again, our basic prices report works the same. The zip code, digital edition, print analysis. You can export, view report, or modify. I do want to bring up that you can also access historical quarterly periods. So when I click on historical reporting period, it's going to provide me with all of these quarters. Now, it wasn't, we didn't have all of our newspapers submit quarterly data until Q1 2015. However, some of the larger papers did start to report it in Q4 2013. So note, if you pick a certain period, some papers will have it and some won't. But with this option, I can do quarter over quarter analysis. So let's say I want Q3 2017, Q3 2016, and Q3 2015. That means that I'm now pulling data from all of those quarterly data reports. So I'm looking at a quarter over quarter analysis. So here I'm going to click the plus sign to the right of Executive Summary because that's the report I want. Select all, and I'm going to click Submit. And so here you'll see your quarter over quarter information. So you can see the different dates under reporting date that you have for that for those particular quarters. Again, you can export this, choose your preferred format, and click OK. So remember, accessing these data, whether you're accessing audited data or quarterly data, same type of thing with export, view, report, or modify, and choose your quarters or deselect it if you just want the most recent quarter. But I also want to show you a little bit of a couple tools that you can do actually in the newspaper analyzer. Let's say I'm running an executive summary report, and I'm going to click the plus sign under modify, and I'm going to select all here on our categories, and then I'm going to click submit. So I usually use Excel to format. Once I export it into Excel, I do some formatting. If you choose that you want to do, if you decide you want to do some formatting prior to exporting, I would just go over and select which category you want to do formatting on. Let's say we wanted to only look at one particular standard frequency. Or let's say, actually, let's group by a standard frequency. I'm going to click on the column header. I'm going to click on the filter. And then I'm going to, let's select Friday. I just want to show Friday as a frequency. Now you'll see our frequency description has gone to Friday. So now all I have in my report is my Friday information. So I took out every other report or every other frequency. Let's say I also want to group by a member name or group by a city or a state. You can do that. You can go up to state, and then you click this little down arrow to the left of the lines, and then you click on group and add a group. And now you'll see here we're grouped by state on the left-hand side. And then within the states are the different newspapers. So you can decide to do some formatting prior to exporting, and then from here all you'd have to do is export like we normally do, and then click OK. And then your report would export given the different formatting that we did. So remember, just click on a column until it grays out. You can sort ascending or descending, look at the filters, or save designs, etc. So that option is available to you. Or you can export into Excel and format from there. You can also save a design if you want while you're in the newspaper analyzer. So we did pull in our Lee Enterprises data. We're in quarterly data. Let's run an executive summary report. And I'm selecting all, and it's the most recent and current report. But I want to save this as a template. Let's say I chose my newspapers I want. I've got my categories I want. I've got my reports that I want, but I want to save this design. So I'm going to go up here to the down arrow to the right of the line and click Save Design. Now, what's going to come up is either newspapers or periodicals. It's important that you choose one of these, and since we're referring to newspapers, I double check that. Now I need to name this file. And since it's an executive summary file, I'm going to go ahead and click Executive Summary. And then I'm going to click Enter. So when I close out of this report, if you see down here, here's my executive summary report. I have now saved that design, meaning I can pull in other newspapers and it'll have the exact parameters that I set for this report. And I'll show you what I mean. I'm going to reset. And I'm going to go in and I'm going to click newspaper again. And I'm going to choose my parent company. And I'm going to go down to Cox Media Group. Put a check mark to the left of that. Click apply and close. Again, remember I need to select all of my titles, analyze data, and that'll process. That'll bring up our newspaper analyzer tab. And then that will load. Remember, we had quarterly data, but I want to go ahead and I want to pick my executive summary report that I saved before. Now, I want to overwrite my existing report because remember, I had my Lee titles in there, and now I have my Cox Media titles. And I will use either the saved report dates or I can use the most current. So I'll just put a check mark in there and I'll use my most current. Now I've got this file laid out exactly how I brought in the Lee papers, but I brought in the Cox Media papers. So that's kind of a trick to show you within the newspaper analyzer. So remember those tips and tricks while you're in here and how to access your audited data and your quarterly data. So that is our Media Intelligence Center newspaper analyzer training. Thank you for spending this last half an hour with me. To wrap up, if you have any questions or you need assistance with the Media Intelligence Center, on the top of the page here, and it's throughout every page, there's a for support information. There's an micenter@auditedmedia.com email and a phone number here. Both of these come to me. So should you have any questions or need any help, feel free to reach out. Our next training session is on Thursday, October 26th, where we'll be featuring training on the periodical analyzer. So please contact us or visit AAM's training page to see the schedule and the register. So here's our training page. It's on the AAM website, and you can see we have a listing of a variety of webinars, but here's that AAM periodical analyzer webinar, and you can access that information. So thank you again for being a member of the Alliance for Audited Media and spending time with us today. Have a great day.